Hello everyone. I'm doing this short video because we're going to miss class on Monday, so I wanted to give the option of seeing the presentation. I also want to remind you to check our course website because our course website includes not only this full lesson, but also a bunch of videos that explain each of these things we're doing. So if you are at all confused, like I know a lot of us are by this topic, you will find the answers on these videos on our course website. So let's begin. Today we're going to be discussing digital currency. We'll have an introduction to digital currency. We'll talk about the most common kind that you might know about, how digital money and digital wallets work. We're going to give you some examples of them. And then we're going to go into something known as cryptocurrency and spend a little bit of time on a well-known example of cryptocurrency. That would be Bitcoin. And then we'll talk about other types of cryptocurrency. Now, to begin with, we want to talk about digital currency that is bank regulated. So this digital currency is any type of money that exists in electronic form. So actually, both cryptocurrency and bank regulated are also digital currency. However, digital currency that is bank regulated is stored in banking computer systems and is backed by something known as fiat currency, which is legal tender whose value is backed by the government that issued it. E-money examples include bank deposits and electronic funds. A stored value card means that funds and our data are stored on the card, and these include gift cards, loyalty cards, and prepaid calling cards. Digital wallets are the online sites which manage your money and payments. A digital wallet can actually take the place of an actual credit card. Digital wallets are apps stored on your smartphone and offer a convenient way for paying for goods and services. After downloading the app to your phone, you would load the credit card information onto the app. Some apps will even allow you to take a picture of your card to save you the trouble of entering all that information. When you want to make a purchase, you would just tap your phone to the digital payment enabled terminal, and they use a technology known as NFC, near field communication, to read your information. Now I know that everyone's asking now, is digital currency safe? Information that you upload to a mobile wallet gets encrypted, which actually makes it safer than the actual card. Of course, the security of your mobile wallet is only as good as the security on your smartphone. So using additional methods like two-factor authentication, you can add a second way to gain access to your phone. You also want to make sure that you know how to retrieve your phone if you lose it or remotely wipe the data if it's stolen. So that would be using Find My Phone or something along those lines. If you see suspicious activity on your accounts, you'd want to change your password and call your bank. And then finally, which one is right for you? So many of the digital wallets offer similar features and security measures. And it kind of depends on your personal preferences. It depends on your bank. It depends on what devices or credit cards you own. It may also depend on who you're exchanging money with. Let's look at some examples of digital wallets. This is the Apple Wallet. This wallet holds all of your stuff. It includes your virtual credit cards, a debit card, which holds the money that you've been sent via Apple, and a place to store your gift cards. Transactions are authenticated with your fingerprint, which makes it a more secure app. Another thing that Apple Pay does offer is a place to store your boarding passes. So next time you travel, you can have them on your Apple Wallet and just pull that out when you're going through the line. Another option, which has pretty much the same benefits, is Google Pay. It may also be known as Android Pay, and it's the alternative for those that use an Android phone. It is part of the Google family of services. So you can send or request money to a friend who has a Google account, and it can actually be done via the Messages app as well as the Google Pay app. And you can also add gift cards and loyalty programs to that. And one thing we did discuss in our class was that if you are exchanging money with a person, you would usually need a debit card included in your wallet. Some of them will allow you to use credit cards, but they will tack on a 3% fee. There's other ways to pay electronically if neither of these appeal to you. One of the more well-known ones is Venmo, and Venmo is actually a social app. So it is a way for you to, when you're out to dinner with a friend, to split the tab or to pay for rent or anything else that you would do between individuals. It can also be used to pay for online purchases with some companies, currently Uber, J.Crew, or Grubhub. That could increase in the years. Like individuals, the business needs to set it up before you can use it with the business. Individuals will need to set it up as well. They will have to have an account with Venmo. And the reason why it's social is that because each exchange of money between friends, you're going to be asked to provide a comment. Now, no one really cares what the comment is. It could be anything, but you do have to say something, or you could put an emoticon, a little diagram there if you prefer that. Now, I do want to call attention to the screenshot. And these three people have a globe next to their name. So being a social network, you could be private or you could be public. These people have chosen to be public, which means that anyone could go into the Venmo app and start scrolling down and seeing how strangers exchange money with other people. If you choose to be private, you can only see your Venmo friends. I think we've seen this app before. Maybe people that came to your home to do work around your home, or I know my hairdresser has this. So this is called Square Cash. And if you were in the Google Play Store, it would also be the Cash app. And so the way it works is you download the app and then you follow the prompts to create an account, which include your phone number, a debit card, your name, and a unique tag to identify you on the app. You also need to include your zip code. With this app, you can pay in cash or Bitcoin. We're going to talk about Bitcoin in a bit. To use this, you create an email using the app to who you would like to pay. And then the first time you use it, you'll be asked to enter your debit card number. And the person you're sending to will also have to do the same. The funds will arrive within 2 days. Another option is using your phone, the Messenger app or the Facebook app. So on both of these, they offer the option to pay someone. You can see on the iPhone illustration on the left, there's a little thing that says pay. So you would just put your contact's name in the two, and then you would hit pay, and then you would say how much you want to pay them. When they're ready to retrieve it, they would just click on that and the money would go into their account. Facebook also offers a similar thing. So when you are on the Facebook app, and this would be the Messenger app, you would tap on payments. And once again, you can specify who you're paying and how much it would be. And one thing you have to remember is that you do need a debit card to send or receive money through either of these services. Zelle is a bank-to-bank service. If both banks have a relationship to Zelle, it's easy to do with your bank app. Both parties, if you're using individual, they both have to be registered with Zelle. And the good thing about Zelle is that the payments are ready for spending within a few minutes. If you want to see more about any of these things, as I said, look on our course website and there's some great videos. Next, I want to talk about unregulated digital currency. This is where it gets a little interesting. Cryptocurrency, I think you've heard of the word cryptocurrency. This is a virtual currency. You can't touch it. It's all in digital data. It has no central regulation, so it's not backed by any bank. So that means that it has no intrinsic value. The value is determined by the network of users. So as people use that cryptocurrency, they determine how much it's worth. Now, of course, it can pose risks because it's very volatile. If you've been following the news, you've noticed that Bitcoin has gone up and down and up and down, and that's because of the fact that there is no central regulation. It's completely anonymous, which can be good if you're trying to exchange funds with people and you don't want to be tracked. And the value is determined by the network of users. So how does this work? Well, at the beginning, somebody uses their computer or their phone to request a transaction. So then that transaction is broadcast to nodes, and nodes are different computers in a special type of network known as peer-to-peer network. So these computers have signed up to help these transactions be spread throughout the network. So what the nodes, the computers, do is they validate the transaction and the user's status using algorithms. It sounds confusing, but people are actually paid to do this. They're called miners, and they're actually paid in Bitcoin to validate these purchases. Once they're verified, the transaction is combined with other transactions to form a new block of data for the ledger. Each of these transactions are verified and then entered into the ledger, which is visible for anyone. It's completely transparent. And then that transaction becomes part of a block. Now, here's where it's important. That block is permanent and unalterable. So once that block has been added to that blockchain, that transaction is complete and nothing else needs to be done. Because of that, this whole idea of blockchain, and that's how the cryptocurrency works, is going through a blockchain, is an extremely secure way of validating transactions. Are you confused? Of course you are. If you can read this, you're looking at Dilbert and he's saying, and that's my blockchain proposal. Do you have any questions? And his boss says, well, there's a part I didn't understand. And Dilbert says, which part? And the boss says, the words. Dilbert says, all of them. The boss says, only the goofy ones, such as token, smart contract, certainty as a service, UXTO blockchains, node, ledger, and dApps. So Dilbert says, so you didn't understand anything I said for the past hour? And the boss says, don't try to turn this into my fault. And then Dilbert says, you could have asked me to clarify. And the boss says, I also wanted it to end. So maybe that's how you felt during this last part. But once again, if you go onto our course website, you're going to see people explain it even better than I did. So I would recommend that. Let's talk about some examples of cryptocurrency. Maybe the most famous that you've heard of is Bitcoin. It's peer-to-peer currency. So like we said, it's not backed by the government. It's me exchanging Bitcoin with you, peer-to-peer. And it's individuals along the way that are deciding whether or not this is a solid transaction. So the transactions are kept in a ledger, and then we talked about the blockchain. Now, the other thing about Bitcoin is that there's a finite supply of it. They're going to stop at 21 million. So after that, there will be no more Bitcoin made, and that's what helps drive the value of Bitcoin, knowing that it's nearing its end, but we still have a few years. Now, it has no intrinsic value, so you can't take the Bitcoin and exchange it for money or gold. So even if you have a lot of money in your wallet, you have to find a way to spend it. And you can't just go to the bank and say, hey, I'd like some cash for this. You have to instead use it. There's no physical form of this currency. Even though in our illustrations we see little tokens and things, they don't exist. It's all data. The value is determined by the network of users. Now, when you use Bitcoin, you have to have, or any cryptocurrency, you have to have a wallet. And that wallet is either on your device, on the computer, or on the cloud. The wallet can hold different types of cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin. Bitcoin can be purchased with the real money on the Bitcoin exchange, but then remember, you can't sell it back. And it can be used to pay people and companies. Bitcoin has really had a very volatile history. So when it began around 2009, I think one Bitcoin was $1 or something around there. And it wasn't until about 2017, 2018 that it started to take off. It hit a real peak recently, but now it's dropping a little bit. And if you've been following the news, this has been the past 12 months, and you can see that it's even volatile in the past 12 months. So you do have to realize that this is not something that you would count on for retirement years, but it is kind of an interesting option if you're interested in taking risks. We already kind of talked about the blockchain, but let's just review that because I know you're still sitting here going, I'm not sure they understand the blockchain. So once again, when someone wants to make a purchase on Bitcoin, they open up their digital wallet and they say who they're going to give money to. and then they broadcast that. They broadcast that over the nodes so that all the different computers in the network can pick that up. The nodes will then validate the transactions using the algorithms in a process known as mining. They are compensated with Bitcoin, and they also get tips. Once verified, the transaction is combined with others to form a block, and then the block is added to the blockchain. And here's the thing, the blocks are permanent and unalterable. There's some definite pros and cons of Bitcoin. Of course, some of the pros of using it, you can use it anywhere, and users are in control of the value. It's transparent and anonymous. Now, there are cons. There are fees to use, and sometimes these fees can be pretty high. I mean, they have to pay those miners in order to mine it. It's very volatile. But here's another thing. In order to validate these transactions, you need a computer that has a very powerful processor, and that will use a lot of electricity. It will also create a lot of heat because, as you know, if you have a computer, the more your computer is working, the hotter it gets. And so if someone is mining, they have to have their system set up to manage all this electricity, and it's going to also take a lot of power, so they have to have a special kind of computer. In the past, there were individuals around the country and the world that were miners. But now that has become more the job of companies who are located in very remote areas, whose computers are probably in very cold places in a basement. There's something else about it. There's no refunds or chargeback functions. So if you don't like your purchase, you can't ask for a refund because once it's on that blockchain, it's done. And then also there's many stories of people who have lost their Bitcoin accounts. If you have to know your special password, your special wallet. Sometimes that wallet is only on your device, so if you lose your device, you may not be able to get access to your Bitcoin. Sometimes it's on the cloud, but if you lose your password, nobody can help you with your password. Okay, how do we use it? Well, you first set up that wallet. You can get this wallet online. You can Google for Bitcoin wallets. And once you have that wallet, you'll be able to use that wallet to store not only Bitcoin, but in many cases, any type of cryptocurrency. You can then use Bitcoin as a payment for goods and services, or you can purchase it from an exchange such as Coinbase. You can also earn Bitcoin through mining, as we talked about. Your wallet has two components for security. It has a wallet seed, which makes your wallet unique, and a strong password. If you lose these credentials, you lose your Bitcoin forever. Very important that you keep these things in a safe place. And once again, our videos online explain a little bit more about that seed and how to make your Bitcoin more accurate. All right, I added this time because a student asked about it. What is an NFT? And I said, okay. And I researched it, and this is what I found out. And as I've been saying, there's a couple of really good videos on our website. One of them is Trevor Noah, who is the host of The Daily Show. And he provides a fun look at NFTs, probably voicing what all of us are saying, like, what the heck are they? So NFT stands for non-fungible tokens. A non-fungible token is one that can't be interchanged. So for example, a dollar bill is a fungible token. I can pay you $1 because you want to borrow $1, and then when you want to pay me back, you can pay me $1, but it's a different dollar. It's not the same dollar. And so in that case, that is a fungible token. But an NFT is non-fungible. That means that it can't be interchanged. It allows ownership of an entire asset, and then it also provides information beyond the basics. So it establishes ownership in a very secure way. And how is it secure? It uses a blockchain. It's not going to be the Bitcoin blockchain. It's going to be the Ethereum blockchain. But nevertheless, that is what they use to store the NFTs. So Ethereum allows developers to build apps which are decentralized. And so that would allow gamers to earn a token in one game and then use it in another game, or even to purchase a token and use it in multiple games. So gamers really like this idea of NFTs. NFTs can also be used for property, assets, contracts, and games. Besides that, it can also be used for any type of digital data. And I want to call attention to a YouTube video that was probably one of the first viral videos out there. It was called Charlie Bit My Finger. It's these two little boys in the back of the car. They're sitting there, and Charlie is this baby, and the brother is a little bit older, and Charlie bites his finger, and he kind of says, "Oh, that hurts, that really hurts." It was a viral video. It was viewed by millions of people. Well, just this week, the owners of that video, the family, they put it up for auction as an NFT, and it was sold. You can see it on the website. There's an actual video from a news show that shows it. But here's the catch. You can never see that video again. If you go to YouTube and you say, "Charlie Bit My Finger," that video is no longer on there. That video is owned by the person that purchased it, and they can do whatever they want with it. So that is an interesting thing. Now, whether or not that type of thing takes off, it's hard to say. And as you watch the videos online, you'll see that NFTs are still something that people aren't really sure how they're going to work. But it is kind of an interesting idea. So do look at the videos, and you will get to see a little segment of Charlie Bit My Finger, and that you better watch it because it may no longer be available at some point because it's no longer public property. It now is owned by a private individual. Here's a couple of other examples of cryptocurrency. We talked about gaming. So there's something called crypto kitties. You could set up your own kitty. They're very unique. They have all sorts of unique features. Each one is different, and each one is owned by you. That is your NFT. So you would pay for it, and it will be yours. And it can't be replicated, taken away, or destroyed. It will always be yours. Now, the thing about that, we talked about the apps building decentralized games. So you can use your CryptoKitty in one game, and then you can open up another game and use it in that game as well. Or you can just create a collection like they used to do with Beanie Babies and things like that. So that's CryptoKitties. Now, another one that's more socially important is P08. P08 Artifacts is a group that is tokenizing $100 billion worth of sunken artifacts. This creates a way of identifying the artifacts and claiming ownership. They are auctioning off things that they have found, sunken treasures. You could purchase one of those sunken treasures. Now, you may not be able to actually receive that sunken treasure, but it will belong to you. And that money will then be used to help P08 salvage more underwater things. It's a type of NFT that seems to make sense. It's going to help that organization continue to recover things that have sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Another example would be something known as Codex. And this is a registry for art and collectibles that allow you to verify and store information about your art in an NFT. And that would make it easier to determine ownership for insurance and security issues. So in this case, you would have an actual piece of art, and you would register that as an NFT. And then if that art was stolen, you would be able to say, "Hey, look, I own this piece of art. So if someone else has it, it's not theirs, it's mine." There's even an NFT called LA Token that allows you to tokenize assets like real estate, gold, or artwork. And so in that case, you could sell them in parts. With Bitcoin or digital currency, you can have any fraction. So if you tokenize your real estate, you can give one of your kids 0.05 and the other 0.75, and you could divide it up like that. And there are other examples of cryptocurrency. Litecoin, it's an open source global payment network. It's different than Bitcoin because it's believed to have faster transaction times. It has a larger coin limit, 84 million. And it uses different algorithms which could affect its value. So if you have your money in both Bitcoin and Litecoin, you might find that Bitcoin is dropping and Litecoin is rising. Again, you never really know how something's going to work. Now, we did talk about Ethereum. It was created in 2015. It uses the blockchain technology. It's also used by app developers to pay for transaction fees and services on the Ethereum network. Ripple is another example. That was released in 2012 and is both a cryptocurrency and a digital payment network. It's used to create a fast, secure, low-cost method of transferring money. It allows all types of currency to be exchanged. from US dollars to Bitcoin to gold to other European banks. Focus is not on a person to person, but on moving large sums of money. So Ripple ends up being a more diverse type of cryptocurrency. Now, there's actually even a cryptocurrency embedded within the browser Brave. So Brave is a new browser. It sort of prides itself on its security, but it also has a cryptocurrency built right in. And so you have a widget known as Binance, and the Brave users can access Binance through the browser or online, Binance.com or Binance.us. You can buy and sell your cryptocurrency assets. You can view your asset balances. You can obtain deposit addresses, all within the Brave browser. So users can trade cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and many others that are supported by Binance. There's many other types of cryptocurrency, and that means that each type is competing with the others. Now, that kind of raises the possibility of a virtual currency crashing. And if that were to happen, there'd be no recourse. Your money is lost. And that concludes our presentation. Once again, I want to remind you to go to our course website. This information is there, links are there, and there's a bunch of really useful videos. Thank you for listening.